To be elevated to legend status is the highest sporting honour that can be bestowed on an Australian sporting great. Tonight, one member will become the 37th legend of Australian sport, joining this cavalcade of champions. Before we meet them, let's look at the 36 legends to date.
Hey, true blue, don't say you've gone. Say you've knocked off for a smoker, and you'll be back later on. Hey, true blue. Hey, true blue. Give it to me straight, face to face. Are you really disappearing? Just another dying race. Hey, true blue. True blue. Is it me and you? Is it mom and dad? Is it a cockatoo? Is it standing by your mate when he's in a fight? Or will she be right? True blue, I'm asking you. Hey, true blue, can you bear the load? Will you tie it up with wire just to keep the show on the road? True blue, I'm asking you. True blue, is it me and you? Is it mom and dad? Is it a cockatoo? Is it standing by your mate when he's in a fight? Or will she be right? True blue, true.
It's now a great pleasure to welcome the Honourable Sussan Lee MP, Minister for Health, Aged Care and Sport, to officially represent the Prime Minister of Australia, the Honourable Malcolm Turnbull MP. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. Good evening, everybody. May I firstly pay my respects to the traditional owners of the land on which we stand and acknowledge that under all this beautiful glass and concrete, it is in the footsteps of the first Australians that we walk. Can I also pay my respects to Indigenous athletes past, present and future? Congratulations to all of the inductees here tonight. And warmest congratulations to you, John Bertrand, Chairman of the Sport Australia Hall of Fame, for all of the wonderful work that you have done and that you continue to do. I am just so excited to be here tonight to present the Sporting Australia Hall of Fame's 37th Legend of Australian Sport Award. And sitting here tonight at the premier event on the sporting social calendar, I am just so privileged to be amongst sportsmen, women and administrators who arguably do what they do better than anyone else in the world. And it doesn't matter how many words we try to come up with to describe sporting achievement and sporting character, they will always be insufficient, because it is the individuals themselves that speak volumes. Australia has a great sporting heritage. In fact, it's an amazing and strong part of our culture. It helps define us as a country, as a people, and it even defines our relationships with other nations. For a small country with a population of around 23 million, we punch well above our weight. The Sport Australia Hall of Fame was established in 1985 to recognise and promote the outstanding achievements and contributions of Australian athletes. The legend status pays homage to our sporting heroes who have distinguished themselves at the highest sporting level and in doing so have inspired countless everyday Australians to get involved in sport. And often, many of our leading athletes get their start from participating in organised team sports, as did our winner here tonight, who not only made a significant contribution to Australian netball, but is also one of its leading ambassadors. This year's Legend of Sport represented Australian netball for over 10 years, 6 of which she served as captain. She was also the first netballer to be inducted into the Netball Hall of Fame in 2008 after being named Sydney's greatest ever netballer. So, without further ado, let's now meet our 37th Legend of Australian Sport.
In the land of sporting giants, no Australian has had a bigger impact on her chosen sport than Anne Sargent on the game of netball. Anne represented Australia for 11 years, from 1978 onwards, captaining the team for 6 years, from 1983 until her retirement in 1988.
Oh, Australia in bad need of a goal. Anne Sargent under pressure. Responds.
She played in 3 World Championships, the last as captain. In 1979, she helped Australia to equal first place, sharing the title with both New Zealand and Trinidad and Tobago. In 1983, she led as vice-captain, with the Australian team enjoying victory over New Zealand in Singapore, and as captain to an equal second with Trinidad and Tobago in Glasgow in 1987. Anne captained the Australian team at the World Games in 1985, the inaugural Australian Games in 1984, and on a 1984 tour of New Zealand. Among many international highlights, a standout was the 1985 tour of Wales, when she captained an undefeated Australian side and posted a career best of 3 consecutive 100% shooting games. She complemented her Australian captaincy with captain coaching the Manly Warringah team to 6 straight New South Wales titles, and she captained New South Wales to victory in 4 national titles. She is a life member of Netball New South Wales and is in the Netball New South Wales Hall of Fame. In 1988, she was awarded the Netball Service Award, and in 2008, she became one of 5 inaugural inductees into the Netball Australia Hall of Fame. She was also inducted into the New South Wales Hall of Champions in 1988 and elevated to legend in 2014, becoming the first netballer to hold legend status. She was inducted into the Sport Australia Hall of Fame in 1987, awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia in 1988 for her service to netball, and in 2003 was named Sydney's greatest netballer ever. Anne has carried on her enormous contribution to netball, in coaching and in commentary, and she'll be forever known as a giant of women's sport. Tonight, Anne Sargent OAM becomes the 37th person to be elevated to the status of legend in the Sport Australia Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 37th legend of Australian sport, Anne Sargent. To make the official presentation, Minister Lee and Etihad Airways Patrick Pearce. Congratulations, Anne.